Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question that is to talk about sort of the dynamic of suspicion and the psychopath, otherwise known as maybe paranoia and suspicion that is experienced as a result of a relationship with a psychopath. What do you do when the relationship gets to this point? How do you understand it? Well, to understand it is to understand the manipulation tactics of a psychopath. A psychopath is an individual, male or female, without really a conscience. They don't have the same wiring in their brain, their literal physical anatomy and physiology the way that the rest of society does. So they're your one percenters of society. So you can find these basically 1 in 100. So the more people you come across, the more likely you're to run into a psychopath or maybe even to develop an encounter or an experience with one. It is not really a relationship because there's no really heart or empathy or emotions or feelings that you interact with the relationship. They're literally not there emotionally. They don't really have, they have feelings, but it's more cerebral. It's more of a mimicry or produced or act out sense. In other words, they'll act out feelings, they'll act out relationships, they'll act out jobs because they need it just to get through their day. They need the money, they need the place to live, they need the decoy relationship, they need the kids. A decoy relationship is like to make them seem normal, that they don't stand out, and get further persecuted for standing out. So in other words, it's like back in the day when a lot of people didn't come out about homosexuality and then they got married to in a heterosexual relationship, but they had these affairs with same-sex partners or what have you, because they were truly or secretively either bisexual or homosexual. So back in the maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, I would say that was more common. More now that we have that's supported by the law, so that they don't have to have the decoy relationship. So a psychopath will take on these sort of decoy relationships as if to be a husband, to be a wife. They will get married even though they don't have the feelings. So to understand the paranoia and the suspicion is when you really begin to sense a crack in the mask. Things don't really add up. Things don't make sense. Like what they're doing and what they're saying is not matching up. There's a disconnect. It creates a cognitive dissonance and a paranoia and suspicion in the result of others. And this video that this individual, the comment that the individual was asking was, a very typical experience. And, in other words, so they will derail the course of communication. Like, you can't ask about specific things. They make you feel as if you're crazy for asking about something normal. This is to keep in the air, to keep going, a sense of cognitive dissonance, that there is something wrong with you, that your thought pattern, your questions, your feelings are incorrect or wrong. So they are able to snuff out and extinguish, which is a psychology term for ending a behavior, which is to extinguish a behavior. And so they seek, and I'm sorry, hopefully you guys can follow these, psychological terms. I'm trying to make it very, palatable and easy for you guys to understand and digest and process. So we need to kind of work it out here. But it's to understand that they try to extinguish behaviors in others, which then creates the paranoia, the suspicion, the cognitive dissonance, the feeling that something is off here, yet you can't find a place to resolve it. You cannot come to the person, you cannot come to the third party, you cannot come to yourself when it's in that germination stage. When it's like you can't see the forest for the trees. You're just sort of coming to the realization that there is a crack in the mask and you need to sort of bust it open to understand what you're truly dealing with. And then, you might go, whoa, like once you see the crack mask, once you see the mask drop, literally they might, because there's a physiological change, you'll see in someone who is psychopathic, they're sort of exuding a persona. They are exuding a mask. It's not just a facial mask, it's an all-over mask that they present to people, that they know, don't know, want to know, don't want to know. I mean, it's the ability to do this is metamorphic. Metamorphosizing, so they become this person. It's literally like a light that is switched on and switched off. They can turn it on and they can turn it off. When it's on, it's on. When it's off, it is way off. It has no comparison, no connection to the persona or mask that you just saw. I mean, when you see and expose the narcissist, you'll have a chilling feeling. It'll be very eerie. You'll feel that you literally have stepped up into something that is anti-humanity, i.e. anti-warm, i.e. anti-human, i.e. anti-life, anti-life energy, big, deep trouble, big, deep poo-poo. We're not talking about trouble. We're talking about the end of the line. We're talking about the end of the road. We're talking about the track don't go any further. We're talking about getting stuck at the end of the line with no conductor to go, yo, what are you doing in that car back there? Get out of there. You're not supposed to be in this rail yard. Like, literally, you will, and a viewer, questioned, what happens if you stay with them? You'll find that you're at the end of the trail. If you've ever been on a train, maybe some of you I know are in other countries or rural areas where maybe you haven't taken a train or a lot or been in an urban area, but there's a place where the trains stop running. In other words, they're put in the good old train parking lot. They're just, they're put back, and no one is there. It's, you're in like kind of like, the end of the line. You don't want to be there. You're not supposed to be there. You can get very stuck, lost, go for days without contact. It's a very eerie feeling that you don't have human connection there. And, and so really when the mask drops and completely, you might see bits of it drop. When you see it drop completely, you'll know that you're up against something which is very cold, chilling, what is known as an antisocial personality, a psychopath, someone without conscience. These people can be extremely good looking, kind, wealthy, whatever you want to call it, intelligent, all these other things. So oftentimes it creates this paranoia and suspicion because you don't usually see the two together. So your neurons, your vagus nerve, which is in your, rolls around to your abdomen, has your gut feeling. So you're picking up on something. Your limbic brain, your subconscious is going, oh no, no, there's something wrong with this. And you can't quite put it into words, but you're feeling. So you need to stay in touch with that feeling and being able to listen to its guidance, like an internal GPS. That feeling, that paranoia and suspicion is truth. You are right on. You are on to something. Do not discredit these feelings of eeriness, paranoia, conundrum, enigma. These are all words to describe, a conundrum, like a puzzle that can't be fixed. An enigma, a mystery that eludes you. It feels this way. This is like being thrown into a new course. You're supposed to take the final and you ain't got the study materials yet. How are you supposed to take the final if you ain't got no study materials? So you need to learn a little bit, and that's the, study about and learn about these people, and not only, their physiological difference. So in other words, it's to understand that they have a abnormality, an anomaly. Something is off. in these individuals, but they try to hide it and conceal it. They use this as a way to manipulate and con and take advantage of people, fool others, fool, not just I fooled you, but like fool people, into marrying them, into hiring them, into having an affair, to doing whatever. So you have to understand that these people don't feel fear and condemnation or concern. They don't have that fear of consequences the way that most people do. They do not experience. They just think of another way to cover and hide it up to the degree that most people would not even think or imagine doing that, the energy that it takes. So it is to understand that you are onto something when you are experiencing that. And so you need to realize that this is a tool of manipulation to shut one down. This is not healthy. Realize the cause is creating this effect, and we'll discuss this in more videos. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. We'll follow up with it, but understand that your gut feeling is onto something. Pay attention to it. Take a breather. Why don't you take a breather and pay attention to it? We'll work this out. Have a beautiful day. Peace be with you. Peace out. Peace within.